welcome to stay. You see someone's leaving already. Somebody here is a Toastmaster who does timing. You've got the job. Are you speaking? Yes, I am. So we want you to it's fine, I'll find a time. No one's volunteering. So Rebecca, you'll be the timekeeper. There we go. I'll tell you beforehand what the time is for each speech. Okay. Let me just explain how the timing works. So you will be given a certain period of time to speak. If you are a brand new Toastmaster, just speak until you get to the green light. Which is not going to work because this is flat. Okay, cool, so that kills that. I didn't check to see if it was charged. Okay, well, we'll use a phone. So when you get to the green light, if you're a brand new speaker, you can really stop speaking, but you're welcome to continue until you get to the amber light and the red light. Okay, so if you are speaking 5 to 7 minutes, you will get the green light at 5 minutes, the amber light at 6 minutes, and the red light at 7 minutes. If you are a brand new Toastmaster and you're answering a question that is on this sheet that you've submitted, you can speak for 2 to 3 minutes. So you will get the green light at 2 minutes, the amber light at 2.5 minutes, and the red light at 3 minutes. And if you midway through your story at the red light and you want to keep on speaking, don't worry about it, just keep speaking. If you've spoken for double the amount of time you're supposed to, then we'll start waving at you and tell you to stop. So when you get to the red light, if you're really passionately involved in the speech you're delivering, keep going, I don't mind. Who is using it?
I'm not sure how fast it goes.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't have a program because I haven't received it. I've been told that it's on my mobile phone. There's no way in the world I'm going to be able to read it from there, so we won't worry about it. Somebody who can read from their mobile phones will watch the timing. Do you have an evaluation sheet?
I think we're supposed to bring.
I'm going to bring a bunch now.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, so before we start with the formal speaking, no problem, it's fine. I'm going to ask us just to introduce ourselves. So stand up where you are. Tell me what your name is. And tell me whether you are a member of South African Reserve Toast Bank Toastmasters, because there's lots of you here. Or if you are a member of some other club, or if you're not a Toastmaster at all. So because you're going to deliver a speech, we're going to start this way and go around, and we'll do the people against the table first, and then we'll do the people sitting at the back, so that you understand. Cool. My name's Leonard. I've been a Toastmaster for a long time. You've all heard Paul talking about me, and I am Toastmaster here this evening, together with William, who's helping me, and I think that's just the two of us. So I'm going to ask you, you can stay at your seat, just stand up and tell us what your name is and which club you're from.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, good evening everybody. My name is Lebo Kgosana and I'm a member of Step Up and Above Toastmasters. Our members are mainly in Pretoria North, but we do have members in Rustenburg as well as north of Johannesburg. Thank you so much.
Good evening everyone. My name is Pearl. I am not a Toastmaster yet, but I'm hoping to be one very soon.
I'm not a Toastmaster, I'm still
I'm not a Toastmaster, so I'm trying to find my space.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Emily Serite. I'm a member of President Toastmasters in Thailand.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lebo Motaung, and I am a member of the Toastmasters Club at the Reserve Bank. Thank you.
My name is Nasi, and this is my first time here, Sunrise. My name is Timothy, and I'm a new member of this club.
And this club in Pretoria advanced Toastmasters.
Good evening, I'm Timothy's mom. I'm also a taxi driver to Timothy and Nicholas, so hopefully both of them join Pretoria Advanced Toastmasters, this club, and Andre is also my husband, and hopefully he also joins me with the taxi driving as well.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mashadi Mathosa. I am a member of the Capitol Hill Club, and I've been in Toastmasters since February.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Thabiso Nkone. I'm a member of Capitol Hill Toastmasters, and I've also been a member of Toastmasters since February.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lenon Ngomana. I'm a member of Forum Toastmasters and I joined this year in March.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nakipo. I'm from Pretoria as well. I've been an asset for Toastmasters. So for those who are looking for it, you can talk to me afterwards.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jose Chongos. I am from Angola, and I'm Vice President for membership at Forum Toastmasters. And what else? Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Martha, and I'm from FSCA. I'm completely new, so I've just recently joined the FSCA Toastmasters Club. Thank you.
My name is Ntesang. I'm with the Reserve Bank Club. I've been a member of Toastmasters before, took a break, and I came back last month.
Hello, everybody. My name is DJ Bell. I'm not a member of the club. This is my first time.
Welcome, everybody. Now we're just going to go through the people at the back.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tatinda. I don't have a club yet. I'm ready to join.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ayana Mapuicho. I'm from the Reserve Bank. I'm a newbie there, so since 2 months ago.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pusetso Motaung, also from the South African Reserve Bank. I would say I'm also new, about 2-3 months. Thank you.
A very good evening, everybody. My name is Newbie. I have been a Toastmaster. I hope I am. I'm still following. So I joined in 2021. Just like one of the speakers, I decided to go back. I regressed. So, but by the Moba's help, I came back. So hopefully, those public speaking abilities, my first will be resharpened. But the Pretoria North lady will talk afterwards because I stayed there, so hopefully we'll. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lebo Kgosana. I am the president of South African Reserve Bank Toastmasters. And I've been around since 2019, I think. I also took a break until I was called into office.
Thank you, everybody, for introducing yourselves. If you are a brand new person, completely new to Toastmasters, I would like you during the course of this evening to fill in this form for me. But I think most of you may already have filled in the form. Now, we've got 6 people on the program this evening who have to deliver speeches. So there's a big task ahead of us. We are missing the evaluation forms, but I've been promised that they will arrive. In the meantime, we'll just do the best we can, because if we don't start, we may not be finished by the time we want to break for dinner. Just a tip. The acoustics in this room are not wonderful, so you really need to try and speak up so that everybody can hear you, because I didn't hear everybody introduce themselves. So I just have to imagine what you were saying. When you're speaking, please just try and make sure that you speak to the person that's sitting against the door at the back, even if they're invisible. Okay, who is going to help Khisu set up? Because she's going to be using the projector. Until that is done, I am going to ask you if you can tell me who is the person in the room who enjoys challenging herself, himself, themselves, in everything I do. My next biggest challenge is running the Comrades Marathon. Well, just for a word of advice, it's not mine. So who do you think wrote this? You can all guess. Who do you think it was? Can the
gentleman there?
Rebecca, your husband. Sorry, I missed your name. It's Andrew.
Andre.
Andre.
No,
Who filled this in? Is it Pusetso? Pusetso. Who's Pusetso?
Wow.
Okay. You're welcome to come to the front if you'd like. And you can come and tell us a little bit about your preparation for, or your aspiration to run the Comrades Marathon.
So I guess this would be me getting rid of the nerves because I also had a speech. So, like I said on the paper, my biggest challenge or my next challenge is to run the Comrades Marathon. So lately, currently what I've been doing, I've been running 5 kilometers in the morning and later before I go to sleep in the evening. So just to make sure, but I'm challenging myself to move from 5 kilometers to 10 Ks up until I get to half an hour. So I'm hoping I'll be ready for next year.
Well done. Thank you for telling us. We will let us know when you're ready. So in the meantime, we're going to ask somebody else. It's not you've got handwriting, I can't read. Just getting lucky. Somebody here speaks a little bit of German. So somebody here speaks a little bit of German. So probably they're punctual and they were here on time and they don't want to leave late. But who do you think it is that speaks a little bit of German?
Nine.
The gentleman in the corner.
The gentleman here in the corner?
Yes.
I don't think so. Do you speak a bit of German? No, it's not the gentleman.
I think it's
President.
No, the man's from Angola. I don't think he speaks German. He probably speaks Portuguese. But we'll ask you to talk to us just now. I received this from a lady. Who was the person who gave me this song? It was Chantal Oliphant.
Isn't it her?
They must have gone to the other room. Okay, they've gone to the other room. Tumi-san, are you still here? Tumisang is you.
I don't want to move fast.
Okay, Tumisang. Are you the Tumisang who loves dogs and all kinds of dogs? Excluding Chihuahua. Okay. Come and tell us a little bit about the dogs you love and why you don't like Chihuahua.
I absolutely do love dogs. I grew up, we used to call them police dogs, but they are not police dogs. I later found out they're actually called cadabra dogs, these police-looking black dogs. So I hate Chihuahuas because if you look at the Chihuahua, it looks like it used to be a wolf, and then it got converted into a Chihuahua. So I definitely love all sorts of dogs except Chihuahuas. So if you want to give me a present for my birthday, give me a pet in the form of a dog, except a Chihuahua.
Thank you, everybody. The projector set up, so I'm going to hand to Vuyi to introduce our speaker. Thanks. Thanks, Vuyi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the energy that you guys make new members not to come to your club. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Just a reminder, what is our club mission?
Which club?
This is where we should start. And if we know what is our mission, then we know what we are all about and where we're going. And when we recruit new members, we're recruiting them to adopt our mission. But when we are not clear about our mission, I will not fool you. Because it means we have presidents sitting here, VPs sitting here, VPMs, who don't know what is our club mission. It is very important. We provide a supportive and positive learning environment where individuals come together and are encouraged to work on their competent speaking and leadership skills. Please, a supportive and positive learning environment. That's what we are creating for members. Remember, these are individuals that came from these different spheres who have fear in public speaking, to stand in front of people and speak. Or it's either presentation skills they struggle with that element. But whatever that they want to prove themselves, this is supposed to be that supportive, positive learning environment. So I'm going to ask that when we have our speakers here, let's please applaud them. Toastmasters are known for applause. You make a mistake, we applaud you. You fall, we applaud you. So let us showcase that we are not wine drinkers, or we're not toasting bread, or this is where we train. We come to gym to train our public speaking, and then we go out there and showcase these skills that we learn here. My name is Vuyi Vitella, and I'll be your co-toastmaster of the evening. I'm a member of President Club in Hatfield. I joined Toastmasters in 2013, and I was, believe it or not, I was one of those introverts that even in my varsity years, I was in the front row, that when I answer, no one has to look at me because I'm sitting right there in front. And from there, it's straight in the library. That's it. And then when I found out about Toastmasters, I was in Deloitte doing my articles, and then my manager then says, you need Toastmasters. So, yeah, it's me now talking a lot. It shows that this did work. Thank you. So we have about 6 speakers this evening. And unfortunately, as Leonard mentioned, our evaluation forms are delayed. So in the meantime, the person who is supposed to give evaluation, I will just call the name, but we will do an open evaluation unless they're here. So our first speaker will be Lebo Kgosana, and Lebo will be evaluated by Mashadi Mathosa. Is Mashadi maybe? And then we have second speaker, Pusetso Motaung. Okay, and Pusetso will be evaluated by Ntesang Chweneyagae. And then the third speaker is Lenon Ngomana. Is Lenon here? Okay. And Lenon will be evaluated by Lebo Kgosana. Then we also have Thabiso Nkone, evaluated by Pusetso Motaung. And then the fifth speaker will be Mashadi Mathosa, evaluated by Lenon Ngomana. Then our last speaker will be Ntesang, evaluated by Thabiso Nkone. Yeah, will be evaluated by Thabiso. Is it all the evaluation first?
Start handing them out. People who are evaluating with their hands up. It's very generic. So there's 4 sets or so.
It's the evaluation forms are generic evaluations. So normally 2 of our new members, each project, it will specify what we're looking at. It's either it will be a vocabulary or body language or structure of the speech. But these evaluation forms will then say, so it will be stated in the evaluation form, but we're not using just generic evaluation forms for our speakers.
Evaluators who don't have forms here.
Is there any evaluator who needs a form? Speakers, I would like to confirm your titles. Remember, you have 5 to 7 minutes, all the speakers. And then you're going to be the timer. Okay. We have our timing machine here. So at 5 minutes,
we'll call out, I'll just put my hand up if it's 5 minutes.
At 5 also. And then 6 minutes, another hand. And then 7 minutes. Speakers, you'll have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. Just to confirm your title, speaker number 2, Pusetso, your title is time. Speaker number 3, your title is I am because we are. Lenon?
Correct.
Speaker number 4, Thabiso, mitigation is the strategy. Speaker number 5, Mashadi, a level goes a long way. Speaker number 6, Ntesang, lead to lead.
Led to lead.
Or led.
It's the type of
Okay. All right. Please remember your applause for our speakers. Let's encourage them. And if it's the ladies that are speaking, they fall, leave it to me. I'll do them mouth to mouth. I must tell you, before we started, years ago, I came to this club to visit. And I was sitting next to a lady, and then we talking. She was a new lady, and I was sitting, and then I said to her, so what are you doing tonight? She says, I'm speaking. Like, you're speaking. It was the first time icebreaker. I'm like, if you are speaking to her, why are you talking to me? You should be nervous and biting your nose. Says, don't worry. They're not gonna slit my throat. They don't have my ID, so they're just gonna listen to me and speak. So I adopted that strategy. That just gonna listen. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker this evening is Lebo Kgosana, and Lebo will be evaluated by Mashadi. Mashadi, will you please read us Lebo's objectives?
Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Mashadi, and I will be evaluating Lebo Kgosana. I don't have the brief, but typically icebreakers are to introduce yourself to Toastmasters. So all the best.
So because there's a generic one, Lebo is on level 2, but we will use that guide for evaluation. All right, please help me welcome Lebo Kgosana, speaking to the title, The Attributes of Healthy Kindness. The Attributes of Healthy Kindness, Lebo Kgosana.
disclaimer. Each and every time I'm in a Toastmasters meeting, I find myself opening the meeting by greeting. I'm the first one. And when they move over to the second part of the program, I find myself being the first one to do whatever activity. So I'm just venting to the group in the house, just so you know. So my speech title, as they have said, is Healthy Kindness. Healthy kindness, attributes of healthy kindness. So I want to start at the tail end and introduce you to Mr. Dalai Lama, who has put in his philosophical books that our prime purpose in life is to help others. And if we can't help them, at least don't hurt them. So with that being said, I want you guys to keep all this in mind as I go through my preparation. So healthy kindness. What is kindness? Let's start there. Kindness is a type of behavior marked by acts of generosity, consideration, rendering assistance or concern for others without expecting praise or anything in return. This is a very simple explanation of what kindness is. As we grow older in our household, we are taught from childhood that we need to be kind. In most instances, we're not really given a reason why should we be kind. We are told that it must form part of our character, part of our anatomy, part of our personality. But today I want to show you the attributes of kindness, especially the one that is healthy for the person who's receiving your kindness and for you, the person who's giving the kindness. So with that being said, let's go through the list of attributes that one needs to have in order to exercise kindness. The first one being authenticity. Authenticity goes a long way. It's a genuine place within yourself. When you are authentic in your kindness, you do not have ulterior motives, and you know that you do not gain anything. What you need is only to give the kindness with a pure heart. The second attribute is self-awareness. Recognizing your own emotion and understanding your limits will help you give the best kindness that you possibly can give to the next person. I'm not going to go through word for word. You are welcome to read through as I go through the presentation. But I will merely just touch base on some of the attributes that I have jotted down. The third one being boundaries. We need to respect personal boundaries for both ourselves and the people we're giving kindness to. And by doing so, it's important because we become compassionate without compromising our own values and our own boundaries. So that will form a part of the attribute of kindness. Another one being empathy. When we are empathetic towards the people we are giving kindness to, the attribute is important for emotional connectivity. So we connect emotionally as well to the people we are being kind to. So this empathetic attribute of kindness helps us form relationships as well. So it's very important to have empathy as a kind person. You also need to be respectful. Respect will also help you to get insight on other people's perspective without imposing yours. So respect is also a very good attribute to have when you are showing kindness. Let's look at intentionality. Are we intentional? When you wake up in the morning, you do your daily routines and you leave your house. Are you intentional? Do you intend? Do you decide within your mind and say, today I decide to be kind? Or you just find yourself within the space where you need to be kind and it hits you like a ton of lightning in your face? That is the question you need to ask yourself. I want to encourage each and every one of us. Let's be intentional when it comes to kindness. Decide it before you even leave your bedroom in the morning when you wake up, which is very difficult for me because I've got children. So when I get out of my bedroom and I've decided to be kind, somehow I get distracted there, but it's a topic for another day. Okay, we continue our attributes of being kind. Let's look at consistency. I love this because consistency, it shows the character of a person that you are. Consistency, it builds your reputation. If you're consistent, you get good reputation. If you're consistent, you become trusted by the people around you. Let's look at the long-term impact. My time is running out. I just wanted to narrate a quick story. Long-term impact. Who do you want to be remembered as after your passing? Do you want to be remembered as someone who was harsh or someone who was kind? We all know there's a thing called obituary that's going to be read at your funeral. Your friend is going to speak about you at your funeral. What do you want your friend to say about you? Think about that. Let's look at the psychology. What does psychology teach us about kindness? There's a very good scholar, Mr. David Hamilton, an academic who put down 5 attributes. I'm not going to go through all of them because of time, but my favorite is the one that says kindness slows down aging. Ladies, this is our breakthrough. Kindness slows down aging. Imagine, you don't need to go buy those expensive Newbie products. Start being kind. One wrinkle at a time disappears. All right, now I'm rushing through simple acts of kindness that can immediately improve your mood. All right, send an encouraging message. I love you. I love you. That's one of them. Thank you. Go. Go, go, go. That's one of them. Compliment someone. Tell me my dress is beautiful. It might make me feel better. Tell the next lady that her perfume smells good. It makes her feel better. Be kind to the server. That waitress, that waiter who's serving you at the restaurant, do you get time to say thank you? Just a word, thank you. By the way, all these kindness acts are free. You don't pay anything to exercise this. Just a disclaimer at the corner. There is a World Kindness Day, November 3rd. I don't know how many of you knew that kindness has a designated day in the calendar across the world. As I wrap up, I'm going back to that very profound, very important attribute of kindness, our purpose in life. Not only do we have a purpose to be kind, we have a purpose to help others. When you start by being kind, it's very easy for you to help the next person. And it's very easy for you to connect to the next person. The day you lay in your grave, let us remember you as that kind man who once walked the earth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lebo. You look amazing too.
Well done.
All right, we're moving on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Pusetso.
The speech was 7 minutes and 38 seconds.
7 minutes and 38 seconds. Our second speaker is Pusetso Motaung, and Pusetso will be evaluated by Ntesang. Ntesang, please give us Pusetso's objectives.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As Pusetso gets to the stage, the purpose of this speech is for him to identify. I'm reading mine, apologies. Do you have an icebreaker speaker evaluation at hand? This is 5 to 7 minutes. Can I just use it?
Yes.
Generally, an icebreaker speech is for the member to make a speech in front of an audience and to introduce himself to the city. I will read this one as well, which is a general evaluation purpose. Is for the member to present a well-organized, well-supported speech on any topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, because tonight is Pusetso's first ever speech, it's an icebreaker speech. The tradition within Toastmasters is that we have to stand and give him a resounding applause. So wait for me to introduce him, and as he approaches, we give him a resounding round of applause. Yes, ma'am.
Does he want 4 to 6 or 5 to 7?
5 to 7.
Stay 5 to 7.
Awesome. Please help me welcome Pusetso Motaung, speaking to the title Time. Time, Pusetso Motaung.
5 seconds. What is 5 seconds? To you, it might be nothing. But to a person like me standing on the stage, it's enough to take a breather. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pusetso Motaung, and I'll be talking to you about time. Wikipedia defines time as the continued sequence of events and existence that occur in apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present and into the future. This concept, time, it's a very important concept that, if used wisely and with intent, can or may yield desirable results. Let me tell you a story. Now, in my youthful days, I was somewhat of a nonchalant person about most things. I was doing things for the sake of doing them. You could swear that time was not important, nor was it valuable to me. Fast forward to 2014, when my wife and myself received our first baby boy. Oh, what a joyous moment that was. We even named him Retabi, simply meaning we are happy. A year from there, we received sad news. Our baby boy was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. As disheartening and as sad that moment was, it also gave me a different perspective on time. I got to ask myself, how many opportunities have I missed, or how many opportunities have I misused simply because I took time for granted? Yet there are people who are out there who could kill for that moment, to seize those opportunities and use them. Time, ladies and gentlemen, is valuable. As I was preparing for this speech, I came across a beautiful quote by Mark Levy, which I will paraphrase, and it says, "If you want to know the importance of a minute, ask a person who just missed the bus. If you want to know the importance of a second, then ask a person who just escaped an accident." That goes to show the importance of time. The moments, the seconds that we take for granted, someone out there is seeing the value of them. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed newbies and Toastmasters, I say to you, as we live in these times of things being instant, and in these instantaneous moments, we sometimes miss the valuable moments. Let us go back. Let us go back and ask ourselves, how valuable is time to you? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. Thank you.
The third speaker now is Lenon. And Lenon will be evaluated by Lebo Kgosana. Just out. Can I have a voluntary evaluator? So do you want me to speak to call the evaluator to give feedback? I mean for the speaker that just spoke. Okay. All right. Let's call the evaluator to give feedback to Pusetso's speech. Ntesang, please come and give us feedback.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our excused guests, distinguished, that is. What a wonderful speech. He said, so where are you in the room? You can see why I use glasses, eh? What a wonderful speech. What an engaging speech, which gave us an idea into you, who you are, your life, what is important to you, and what truth about time and its importance in our lives. Congratulations for having the bravery to make your first speech. Well done. What I have found that you excelled at is eye contact. I found that your eye contact was varied and was spread across the audience, which is very good. It's a good trait to have for Toastmasters or for public speaking in general. You also engaged the audience. I could see how everyone was engrossed in your speech, paying attention to what you were saying. That as well, keep it. That is a mark of a good speaker. What I would advise that you work on in your future speeches is that I have noticed that you did have movements across the stage. There was, however, a detection of a bit of nervousness. What I would advise for that is that you could slow down a bit. Do still move, because that's what you want to do when you are making a speech, but you can just slow down your movements when you do that. All in all, I found that your speech was very good. It was engaging, as I have already said. I'm looking for the timer.
3 minutes. 3 minutes, 9 seconds. 3 minutes, 9 seconds.
Have I already spoken for 3 minutes?
You've spoken for 1:59.
Thank you, thank you. All in all, another comment I can make is your comfort level. It does need a little bit of work, which is absolutely understandable because this was your first speech. And then lastly, you supported your speech with an example from your life, which we connected to as people. You also had at least 2 that I can think of quotations. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful speech. Congratulations on making your icebreaker. We are all, even the ones we are still deciding which love they will join. We are looking forward to your future speeches. Thank you.
Thank you to Sam. So that was some feedback. Take it, learn from it, and go. Thank you. And then I'm going to take you guys back to the evaluator of our first speaker, Lebo. And Lebo was evaluated by Mashadi. Mashadi is going to come give feedback on the speech.
Good evening once again, especially to you, Lebo. Go, 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 your dress is beautiful. And thank you for the beauty advice as well. Lebo, for me, it's quite evident that you're comfortable on stage. You are able to command our attention without any hesitation. I found that your topic is so wonderful and it is well researched. You took something that we hear about every day, but take for granted that it's something that is necessary for us to live well together. Things that you may want to work on. I think when you are in front of us giving us a speech, at that moment you are the authority. So when you say, I'm not going to go into everything, you can read later, then you sort of divert us because we want to hear it from you. You are king when you're here. Yeah. Okay. And then when you were talking, I think you were standing beside, in your hand you had something, probably a tissue. It was very distracting and it limited what you were able to do with your hand. So I think just be careful with that. And what you can challenge yourself on is, I found that when you speak of something like kindness, your emotions were not well matched with the subject, because kindness is gentle and it's soft, and so I found you though authoritative, but a bit, yeah. So with kindness, I think match some of the emotion to your words, as well as your PowerPoint, because it's an aid for your speech. Think about maybe making it less busy. There were many things on the screen, so we were torn between your beautiful dress and the things on the screen. So if you could just make it cleaner. But well done, congratulations, and you're a joy to listen to.
They say feedback is breakfast for champions, so take it and go from there. And then moving on to our third speaker, Lenon, and Lenon will be evaluated by Lebo Kgosana. Please give us the objectives for Lenon's speech.
Okay. So I do not have the speech title, but Leonard, I'm sure you will be able to tell us what the speech title is. But I will be evaluating basically your vocal variety, your gestures, audience awareness, your comfort level, how interesting your speech is, how engaging is it, and the clarity. So thank you very much. Leonard? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Lenon Ngomana, speaking to the title, I am because we are. I am because we are. Lenon Ngomana.
Did you know that the South African Constitution is considered one of the best in the world? One of the things I get taught as a law student, it's not just to solve legal problems that arise in our everyday situations for different reasons. It was to also look at the law with a question mark, to look at it with scrutiny and try and find out the very driving force of the law. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Toastmasters, today I would like to talk about one of the philosophical theories that underpins our Constitution, the philosophy of Ubuntu. Back in the days in Africa, when a stranger would be walking by from a faraway world, it wouldn't be uncommon if he comes across maybe a place where people stay. It wouldn't be uncommon for those people to welcome him with hospitality, kindness, offer him food, shelter, a place to stay for a couple of days, all for free. This is the very essence of Ubuntu from an African perspective. It explains what it means to be human. Ubuntu outlines that our humanity is interconnected and intertwined. We're not isolated as human beings, but rather we're part of a whole, a community, and we find who we are through what we do within that community. Try to think of a practical example that occurs in real time in nature. Those who study plants have discovered and concluded that 80% of the flowering plants out there, they require pollinators for them to produce their flowers. And also 30% of the food that we eat. So next time you take a bite of your favorite meal, remember that one of 3 bites comes from some form of pollination across the cycle of production of the food. This is very important because Ubuntu is not just about how we treat each other as human beings. It's also about how we treat our own environment. Because when we live in an environment and we do sustainable things. We ensure that our environment will also be good for those who are still yet to come, the second and third generation after us. One of the personification of this principle of Ubuntu is somebody who is my personal hero. Just recently we were celebrating Nelson Mandela Day. Upon reading his book, I was surprised to find out that actually Mandela he had a law degree, he had a good job during the times when he decided to actually get into activism and make our country a better place. But he knew that when his people are not in a good position, he's also not in a good position. He knew that he was more capable, there was more within himself than the skills he was using as a lawyer. Ubuntu is not about self-deprecation, suppressing our own potential for other people's sake. As a matter of fact, it is explained properly by this quote. We should not think less of ourselves, but we should think less about ourselves. What this means is that when we think less about ourselves, we provide in our mind the room to think about problems in our world that are bigger than ourselves. This is the mindset that allows us to use our skill set to the fullest. And ultimately provide value to our world and be of help to every human being we meet, whether it's our loved ones, our colleagues, our neighbors, or any other human being in general. Mr. Chukwasis.
Please come and give us feedback to Leonard's speech.
Leonard's time was 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay. Leonard, wow, what a wonderful speech. Leonard, your speech, I am because we are. The speech that speaks about Ubuntu. To outline the importance rather of the principles of Ubuntu. It was very educational, Leonard. When you did that explanation on the philosophy of Ubuntu, it really did capture my attention, and I'm sure it captured the attention of the others. Well done for that, Leonard. And you did quote, do not think less of yourself, but I imagine that in a human context, you do need to think less of yourself so that you can accommodate other people in the Ubuntu. You spoke about toleration, I would imagine, and the philosophy behind it, or the context behind toleration, and the 3 bites and everything. So well done on that. What I would like to challenge you on, Lenon, is the long pauses that you make when you make your speech. Just try to reduce the pauses. The pauses are good. It helps you to gather your thoughts very quickly. Maybe keep it at 1, 2, 3, or at most 4 seconds. And also the pacing to and fro. So you pace a little bit to and fro a number of times. Maybe, like the previous speaker as well as they said, just try to also position yourself nicely. Do little movements that are allowed, but maybe reduce the pacing, right? What you may want to work on. Oh, I've just summed it up in what you need to challenge yourself on. That's what you need to work on. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It's my first time evaluating, by the way.
Thank you very much. And then there's also feedback, take it, and from there and go. speaker, which is Thabiso, and Thabiso will be evaluated by Pusetso. So please give us Thabiso's objectives.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So I'll be evaluating Thabiso Nkone. His speech is mitigation is the strategy. This is his second speech, so I'll be looking out for clarity, vocal variety and eye contact, and also gestures, how he moves around, and also the audience awareness.
Thank you very much. Maybe say goodbye. Speaking to the title, mitigation is a strategy. Mitigation is a strategy. Thabiso Nkone.
Toastmasters, CEO Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, guests, good evening. 225 South Africans die every single day. Every hour, 5 South Africans experience a heart attack, 9 a stroke. A third of all South African adults are at risk of type 2 diabetes. 60% of the top 5 natural killers of South Africans are lifestyle-based diseases, non-communicable lifestyle-based diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, no one is promised tomorrow. We heard from that lovely speech, that icebreaker, that time is crucial. Time is a commodity that we cannot afford to lose. When so many South Africans die of lifestyle-based diseases, diseases that they can control through their action, it is indeed a travesty that they will be losing their time to share with loved ones. So my speech today is about giving you little hints as to how to build a strategy that would afford you more time so that you can enjoy the kindness of others as you go about your life. Hence, the title of my speech today is Mitigation is the Strategy. Because what we need to do, we need to mitigate against the ravages of old age, for starters, and the ravages of other things which I shall mention. Now, in my speech, I'm going to identify one key lever. One key lever. If you were to just pull that lever, it would have a huge impact in terms of your lifespan and your health span. But before I take you through that key lever, let us look at the risk that the UN has identified as key risks that contribute to 80% of the risk of contracting, which is contracting, although it does not apply to non-communicable diseases, lifestyle-based diseases that are deadly. They say, first and foremost, a sedentary lifestyle, meaning a lifestyle that lacks movement. Number 2, smoking. Number 3, a poor diet. And number 4, obesity, particular central obesity. Now, you might be wondering, what is that one lever that you can pull? And I'm sure some of you can sort of work it out, what is that key lever. And that key lever is exercise. Observational studies that have been done, including controlled trial studies, show that if an active individual is 72% less likely to die of all-cause mortality than someone who is not active. 72% less likely to die of all-cause mortality compared to someone who is not active. Dr. Peter Attia makes this quote. He says, exercise is the ultimate elixir. He points out, he says, all data, the data that we have, the scientific data that we have, is clear that muscle density, meaning having muscle, strength, and aerobic fitness, the benefit you get from those 3 things which arise out of exercise far outweigh the risk of smoking and type 2 diabetes. Again, muscle density, strength, and aerobic fitness, the benefits you get out of those two things far outweighs the risk of smoking and type 2 diabetes. So what does scientific data tell us is the appropriate protocol for us to implement this strategy? It says, essentially, you must follow a 3-2-1 approach. 3 days or 3 exercise sessions focus on zone 2 training. Zone 2 training is low intensity, but focuses on duration, longer duration. So zone 2, you can attain zone 2 by just walking at a pace where you can just finish your sentence. Just finish your sentence. If someone is listening to you, they should be able to tell that you're exercising. That is zone 2 training. That should be the base. It builds aerobic fitness and it uses a lot of fat as an energy source. The second type of training that you need to do is resistance training, where you build both muscle strength and muscle density. The third is high intensity interval training, where you are really going for it, where you do intervals of 4 by 4 minutes, hard exercise, where you just hate the next 4 minutes, like, do I really have to do it again? But you must. So 4 minutes of high intensity, 4 minutes of rest. So that is the protocol. And that's the protocol I've applied in my life since 2015. It is tough, I go on it, on and off, but it has helped improve all my health markers. From inflammation to high blood to pressure, all of them have gone down and are within range, just by following that exercise. The second lever you can pull is diet. So the general consensus, I know many people, there are varying opinions with regards to diet. The general consensus is 1, stay away from highly palatable and highly processed foods. Now those 2 things, food that have those 2 qualities are my personal weakness. I love cookies, things that are sweet, highly palatable, and things that are highly processed. So stay away from those and eat what your great-grandmother could recognize. The last lever you can pull is one that comes out of a study that has been done by Harvard. Since 1938, Harvard has been tracking a number of adults, and what they have found is that good relations are fundamental in giving the people who have those relations good health and longer lifespan. So the kindness, we had exercise that kindness and maintain good relations. So with those words, I would like to thank this club for giving us this opportunity to make good relations tonight.
Because of those cookies. So then tell us this question.
7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Thank you very much. And we're moving on to our evaluator. Pusetso, please give us feedback on Thabiso's speech.
This is my first evaluation, so I'll be easy on you. So what you excelled on, you provided educational information, so which I believe captivated the audience to want to learn more from your speech. And what I could sense again is you were owning the speech because in the speech you made it personal, so the information that you were sharing comes from something that you know personally. So you own the speech, you made it personal. And it was engaging, and one could relate to the title of having to mitigate, that being the strategy. So that is what you excel on. Now what I can challenge you on is as Madam Toastmaster had said, try to reach the person at the back of the room. So I felt at some point your voice was a bit low, so you were talking to us, but not talking to the person at the back of the room. So I think that is something that you can work on. Also, something which has been a challenge for all of us, the pacing, moving back and forth. So as much as you were trying to engage, you were moving a lot. So maybe again, that's something that, as what has been told to me, I am passing it on to you. So maybe let's keep to less movement on the stage. Thank you.
That was your feedback. Take it and learn from there. That being said, that concludes our first session. Let's break for meal, and then we have 2 more speakers when we come back. I think the assistant also call us back into the room. Enjoy your meal. Thank you.
But they are going to call us so that we don't interrupt the speaker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Ned. And now we're going to our fifth speaker for the evening. For the sake of time, it is Mashadi. Mashadi will be evaluated by Leonard. Please give us the objectives for Mashadi's speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, the speaker of today is Mashadi Mathosa, and the purpose statement of the speech is defined. The purpose of the speech is the introduction of vocal variety in body language. Please welcome. Please
welcome Mashadi Mathosa. Speaking to the title, A Little Goes a Long Way. A Little Goes a Long Way, Mashadi Mathosa.
I didn't say you could stop clapping. I like big things. Things in my life must be grand. They must be extraordinary. I want my name to be written in the stars. In fact, a friend of mine said I was histrionic. And because I like big, elaborate things, I was impressed, only to find out that it meant I was a little bit cuckoo. At the end of the year, I used to do a review of my life. I would sit there and tick all the big, grand, larger than life things that I had done. And I would tick and tick and tick. And when I had all the ticks that I wanted, I would hear Vangelis. Do do dun 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 dun. Chariots of Fire, the song of champions. But when I didn't hear that song, I would be unimpressed and I would be sad and dissatisfied. But now that I'm a little bit grayer, I've come to realize that things don't always have to be that grand. Maya Angelou said to Oprah Winfrey, "You will never know what your legacy is, because your legacy is every life that you touch." And Mother Teresa, she said, we don't all have to do great things. We can do little things with great love. Yes. And that's how I've come to think about legacy, my legacy. What are some of the small things that we can do that can impact people's lives? Firstly, if you do nothing at all, if you sit at home, mind your own business, do no harm. First, do no harm. Secondly, speak with consciousness. Before you yap, ask yourself, kind? Is it helpful? Is it necessary? And when somebody like him, a tall person, when you see me in the store, like, just come to me and say, hello ma'am, may I help you to reach for that pot of jam? Because it will do something for me. I don't like cooking. When it comes to cooking, I'm like a Kardashian. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that you guys cook your own food. So I eat out a lot. And you know what I do? When I get my bill, I take those spoons and I keep them in a jar. And once I've filled the jar, then I give it away to somebody who will enjoy it. When you go on holiday, you go to a hotel and you get those little soaps and shampoos. We don't use them because, you know, we have our own from Oak Soap Heavenly. Save them and give them to a homeless person because they're lacking in hygiene. And if you doubt the impact of a little thing, imagine this. Pretoria, hot as hell. It's the middle of November. You've worked hard, you can't take this anymore. So you're trying to fall asleep and then and you try. Don't doubt the impact of a little thing. Afrikaans people have a saying, Biki, Biki, maak meer. Small things can have an impact. Not everything has to be huge or grand or written in the stars. Not even a legacy. In July, we celebrate Nelson Mandela. He was in an interview with Pusetso Motaung, and she asked him, you know, you've given up a lot in your life. Do you have any regrets? I mean, you left your children, you left your wife, you know, your job, and you were in jail. Do you have regrets? And he said, no, I don't have regrets, because everything that I did pleased my soul. So can your soul be pleased by the little things? Can the things you do be soft and gentle and kind? Yes, we can, all of us. Because after all, just a little goes a long way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mashadi. And I'd like to call Leonard to come forward and give us an evaluation on Mashadi's speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to evaluate Mashadi's speech. And, damn. How can we evaluate that? I tell her to improve, because she was just perfect. And from vocal variety, body language, she was aware of everyone else, giving everyone attention. And the way she put her speech, you could also feel it. You know, you're sitting there, but you could also feel it. It's like you're lost, you get lost in the moment. So, yeah, I don't know, but I would say whatever you have to work on is what you worked on before.
Speech was 5 minutes and 58 seconds.
5 minutes and 58
The time for the evaluation was 40 seconds.
I was actually looking forward to your evaluation because I saw one line, I'm like, what was you going to say? All right, we're moving on to our last speaker, which is Ntesang, and Ntesang will be evaluated by Thabiso. Thabiso, please give us Ntesang's speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster. So in my speech, I spoke about ravages of time, and one of those ravages of time is that one's eyesight goes. So Ntesang gave me this evaluation sheet. I can hardly read it. So what I did is that I took a photograph of it. So the purpose of her speech, the purpose of this project is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspects of his or her primary leadership style and or discuss the leadership styles in general. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please have to welcome Ntesang Chweneyagae speaking to the title, Led to Lead. Led to Lead, Ntesang Chweneyagae.
Toastmaster, Master Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our honored guests. In my language, Setswana, we say that you can never have greeted people too many times. Hence, I have greeted you again. Led to lead. What a way for me to have been led today, to lead. I'm here out of fear. This is honesty. I'm here out of feeling inadequate to be in the other room. As I have said, I've been a Toastmaster before, which begs the question, why am I not in the other room? It's because I had to satisfy myself and my mind that I have indeed outgrown the Newbie room. But wow, what a surprise. It is not the outgrowing that one might think that I speak better. For today, tonight, everyone has heard people who have spoken better. And what a disservice the Toastmasters of this meeting have done to me. How can you put me after Mashadi? I am led because in this room today, I'm blessed by the presence of Vui. In 2018, when I was still an avid Toastmaster, I had no life but just Toastmasters. And I had small children whom I escaped from by going to Toastmasters. Vui was our area director. And I'm looking at him today and I'm just thinking, what a topic for me, for I am being led by him. He just told me he is almost finishing his third DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. I also remember I was recruited by a late friend of mine, Claire Dreyer. May her soul continue to rest in peace. She recruited me. At that time when she recruited me, and I used all the reasons in the world, ranging from Leonard is speaking better, Leonard's posture is better than mine, Vui's voice is projected better than mine. Oh my goodness, did you just hear how fluent Mashadi is? And what about Leonard? At that time when I was making those excuses, Leonard was a Toastmaster. I am led today, for I see her here, still here today. Was she not here? Who was going to welcome me back? As part of my project, I am doing level 2 on my pathways learning path. As part of my project, I had to go and evaluate or assess myself to find out what my leadership style is. True to form, I'm a Democrat. I do not like for things to be imposed on me as much as I do not want to impose on anyone. This assessment has, however, shown me that while that is excellent, it's a strength, for I engage your participation,
it can also be a drawback because I also rely on the same to make a decision. In leadership, in Toastmasters specifically, I need to develop my other aspects of leadership. That assessment told me that I can do so by developing to be a bureaucratic leader. I have to say, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that because first, I'll have to overcome my own personal value that people are better served. People live their lives better when they are free to choose and to make their own decisions, to follow their own free will. However, as a student of life, I take the assessment and I know that for now, how I can enrich myself, enrich my growth, is to be more of a bureaucratic leader. Watch out, sub-Toastmasters, for here I come, trying to be bureaucratic. And in Toastmasters, we do need such situational leadership competencies. Why? Because this is not as the SARB is or the SA Reserve Bank is, where there is HR and there's the tallest structure of management we have ever seen. If Vui gives me a problem, I will talk to him once, twice, try to extract from him, being a Democrat, how we can resolve this. I, however, cannot stay forever and ever trying to do that. I'll escalate him, and the upper echelons will have to deal with him. Other than that, there's process upon process, as much as there are policies to deal with every situation imaginable in such a corporate environment. In Toastmasters, however, no, there is no such. We have to collaborate. I have to extract out of you. I have to motivate you. I have to be a leader that John Maxwell says, a leader is the one that knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. I have to show you how it is done, why it is done, and motivate you to be able to follow my leadership. As such, fellow Toastmasters and our guests, I am happy today. I am grateful that I am led the way that I have been led this evening. I'm led by the quiet guest who has just stayed seated there. I'm led by the fluent existing Toastmaster who has done her speech. I'm led by the sitting distinguished Toastmasters who are holding the light for me. A bit there in the distance to say, Ntesang, come, become a distinguished Toastmaster. And I'm so grateful that I have such a variety, such a range of seeing where I used to be, seeing where I am today, and seeing where I am going. There's a book, a resource in Toastmasters that says, a Toastmaster wears many hats. Oh, how I marvel at the thought of future me wearing as many hats as Toastmasters has enabled me and is continuing to enable me. I am led. Thank you so much for that. And with that, I shall go and sit down. For now, I have completed my speech.
Feedback on Ntesang's speech.
Spoke for 6 minutes and 25 seconds.
Thank you, Toastmaster. We were indeed shown the qualities of leadership. We were led. So what I liked and what I think you excelled on, the confidence. You exude confidence when you stood here. You also showed a bit of confidence by being vulnerable and speaking to us about your truth and how you feel about being in this space and how you felt about your journey. I love the fact that you adapted your content and you engaged all of us, drawing from Mashadi's wonderful speech and so on. So it's very important that you adapt your speech and make it engaging and draw on what everyone has said before. I think your hand gestures were excellent, your good hand gestures. You may want to work on the thing about movement. It's also subjective. You know, there are people who say don't move, and then others say stand still, and then you're confused. Should I move? Should I stand still? And so forth. Your movement pattern is very like the same. Maybe you can introduce a bit of variety in terms of your movement. But like I've been always told, I tend to move too much, restrict it as well. Your eye contact, you tended to, your orientation was here. From time to time, this side would have the pleasure of your eyes, but generally your orientation was here. Okay, so you minis are the ones who scared him. So just a little bit, scan the room a little bit. What I think you should challenge yourself on, sometimes it's important that you outline the structure of your speech. Also for yourself, and you say these are the topics, and then you follow those topics. I struggled a little bit to follow. You were talking about leadership styles and so forth. It might have been good outright to say, these are the leadership styles I'm going to be talking about. I'll first start with this one, and then we deal with this one, and we move to the next, and so on. So that it's easy for us to follow your speech. So with that, Toastmaster, I thank you.
As we conclude, thank you very much to our speakers and our volunteers. Can we give them another hand of applause? From here, we'll then be moving to the main room to join the last speaker in the main room. But before we go, I'd like to just leave you with a short quote from Marianne Williamson to our speakers, Toastmasters, and our guests who are still making their mind. She says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light and not our darkness that most frightens us. She says, and as we let our own light shine, we allow others to do the same. And as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So as we continue to meet in our Toastmasters clubs, remember our presence automatically liberates others. Enjoy your evening, and let's all move quickly to the
Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, far away in a land distant from here, there lived a young girl with her mother and her father, a woodcutter, deep, deep in the forests of Germany. There she played with her young siblings and her friends, and every day she wished to travel through the woods to go and see her grandmother, who she much loved. Now, her grandmother was some distance away, but always looked forward to the young girl coming to visit. And because it was her favourite grandchild, she made for her a coat of the finest red silken material. And so soon throughout the village she became known as Little Red Riding Hood. Every day she would sport her jacket and travel all through the villages and through the woods to her grandmother. And every day on her way, her mother would say to her, "Take great care, for the forest is a dangerous place, even though you are growing older now, my girl. Never stray from the path, and don't stop to talk to any strangers." And so Little Red Riding Hood would make her way through the forest, carrying her little basket of provisions to give to her grandmother. And she knew that her grandmother, this particular day, was ill, for she had heard it for some foresters returning. And so she was keen to take her some nourishment that would encourage her and make her feel a little more well again. She was minding her own business as she travelled through the forest, when suddenly she heard some strange scratching noises. And she turned around in fear, and there before her she saw a huge wolf. The wolf looked her in the eyes and said, "Little girl, what are you doing by yourself in the woods so far away from home?" "Oh, I'm just going to see my grandmama. She's so ill, and I felt so terrible that I thought I would bring her some food." "That looks very nice, little girl, but don't you know it's dangerous to travel here in the woods by yourself?" "Sure, but I'm so careful, and my mum said that I was almost always stay by the path, and I should not talk to strangers." "Well, what do you think you're doing now?" "But surely you're the friendliest of animals, and all the animals love me here." And the wolf thought for a minute, and he thought, perhaps if I go ahead, I can have a double feast tonight. And so he left the little girl on the side, but said to her, just to distract her, "See, if you take a turning here, just through this path, then you'll find your way to your grandmother's house all the more quickly." What she didn't know was that he took the path directly and ran straight to her house. And there he knocked on the door. And inside, the grandmother said, "Hello? Who's that there?" And the wolf, in his best Little Red Riding Hood voice, turned around and said, "It's me, it's me, it's me, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I've just come to see you, Grandmama." "Well, open the latch and step inside, young girl." So the wolf carried on, and he opened the latch, and he went inside. And he found the grandmother looking sick in bed. And he dived onto the bed and swallowed her right up. Now then, he went to the cupboard and he decided that he would dress up like Grandmama, putting on her spectacles and putting on her little bonnet. And looking at himself in the mirror, he felt confident that he was going to fool the young girl. And so he waited in her bed, lying, filled now with meal number 1, Grandmama. Was it as good as the curry at Pretoria Boys High? Now, as it happens, young Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the door, and she had no idea, but it had taken so long to get there. She felt that this wolf had put her on the wrong track altogether, which of course he had. And she knocked on the door, and the wolf said, "Oh, is that Little Red Riding Hood? Do come inside," in his best grandmother voice. And so she came in, sporting her bag load of goodies. And when she went in, she thought her grandmother looked terribly sick, really sick. She pulled the covers up over her face. "Oh my, Grandmama, you really look very ill. So strange. Wow, what big eyes you have. All the better to see you with, Little Red Riding Hood." "Oh, but Grandmama," as she came closer to the bed, "it seems to me that your ears have changed. Is that part of your condition?" "All the better to hear you with, my darling grandchild." And then she stepped closer and closer still. And as she got closer, she saw the snarling teeth. "Oh my, Grandma, your teeth look very, very poorly as you lie there in bed. How big they are." "All the better to eat you with." And she leapt out of the bed and ran towards Little Red Riding Hood to dispatch her as quickly as she had at Grandma. Fortunately, Little Red Riding Hood was quite the little athlete, and so she ran around the bed and under the bed and over the bed and under the bed and around the bed, and she was screaming out. And luckily for her, her father, the woodcutter, was close by with his colleagues, and so they ran over, hacked down the door, got inside, knocked the wolf on the head, and that was the end of the wolf before Little Red Riding Hood could be gobbled up. Now, fortunately, the wolf wasn't so badly injured. In fact, they took him to a not so very good vet in Pretoria, and he was fully brought round. I'm a veterinary surgeon, by the way. And so, the vets saved him with some concoctions and some magic pills, and the wolf was introduced into a circus where he lived out the rest of his days. But of course, the family of Little Red Riding Hood and Little Red Riding Hood herself lived happily ever after.
Thank you, Paul, for that very entertaining story. I think it was well worth the wait. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this now is going to be near the closing ends. Thank you for staying so much later. We just want to have your feedback from our general evaluator, which is Dana, or correctly. So if we have a general evaluator here, if you're ready, we'll just call you for the general evaluation. You.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed this evening. I was in this meeting and in the other room, and in both rooms I saw really good speakers. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and just a format of so many people, some that I know, some that I can recognize also, that they are Toastmasters and has gone through the same journey that we did, starting out with that scary icebreaker and then later on becoming established speakers. I love the way that the President set expectations clearly up front. It told us the difference between the rooms and told us what to expect in every room. So that sort of, I think especially for the guests, but even us, it was my first time in this type of meeting, and for me to understand also what was happening. We had a great motivational introduction by our Division Director, which gave me just more energy after a long day and thinking how I'm going to get ahead, and then just that vision that we got, and shared the vision as well. And even help us to understand the place of this type of meeting as well in that vision. So and just to support that vision, that was great to see. Some advice maybe for the microphone. I know that the first speaker specifically, so maybe if there's a bit of a guidance before he comes on, that will help, because that was quite disturbing, the sound that we heard quite a few times. But I think in the previous meeting you did have a little bit of that. It is great to have the microphone though, and in this big setting, definitely it's important. And it's also good to learn to use a microphone. I remember first time I heard my own voice on the speakers, that was daunting. Like, who's that? I saw a few requests on the chat for the Zoom link. And eventually I saw Fernando posted it about 10 to 7, or was it 10 to 6? 10 to 7. So I think that would be good to share that clearly. I know it was in the poster, but I think that could have helped our online audience. Definitely, I would imagine some people tried and then gave up within those first 15 minutes of the meeting and so on. There was a bit of delay to Fernando's speech with the technology. It's always a problem with technology, and I know you've done quite a bit to prepare. It
to have everything ready, but I think that's the nature of the technology. A suggestion I may have, something to consider, I know it's a bit harsh, but specifically in the expert room to consider, is the timekeeper abruptly stop the speech by applause after a certain time. So maybe your speech is supposed to be 15 minutes long, up to 15 minutes, maybe then 16 or 17 minutes, just start the applause. Just for that, because that's probably one of the worst things to happen, is if one speaker goes way beyond their time. So there's something to suggest to be stricter on that time, and that's one way to suggest it. And also being in the expert room, or the main room, I think that's treatment that you can withstand, is to learn to keep to the time. I then joined the newbies room and found really good speakers on that side. And even one admitted that they were there out of fear. They knew they should have been in this side. And I must say, after seeing the speeches on this side, I would have been horrified to speak in this speech. But even on that side, there were some really, really good speeches on that side. The grand body gestures and all that. What I did enjoy that side as well is the shorter speeches. It was good to hear the two long speeches that I heard. It gets a bit long, so I would, something to consider. I'm not planning this meeting, but something I felt is maybe if we can have only one longer speech and the other one shorter, like maybe the length of Loretta Honeywood's journey. So that was that's just something that I felt, and I think that could have saved a bit of our time. And the story at the end was absolutely entertaining. I felt like a child there next to Kile, just to follow that, and the old technology even, that was something I thoroughly enjoyed, and just made this evening something different. Maybe something for the guests in the expert room is to just make them sure, I know you did explain to them, but just sort of explain to them, this is not how we will evaluate you. That's not how you're going to be. That's how you're going to end up. You're going to start I'm also maybe that person that wants to make people feel safe. But just to make it sure for them that you're not going to start, or you don't need to be like Sibo Giseni. You're going to end up like him. You're going to start being afraid, and this is a safe place to grow. So I think that's maybe something to just make clear for the guests. And maybe you did, and I just didn't listen. Yeah, I think that's what I sort of my feedback, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And thank you, Mr. President, for that.
Thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank everyone for coming, and now I will officially hand over to Mr. President to close the evening for us. Paul, please come.
I'll keep this brief, folks. I hope you've enjoyed the evening as much as I have as well. We're very willing to change the format. We're trying to support it as much as possible through division and elsewhere. I look forward to seeing you on your territory too, and we would come and actively support you if we can. You know that I'm very keen on the idea of joining forces. I've delivered that talk to a number of clubs over the last year. I think if you reflect on the content and the form of tonight, this is what public speaking should be. We'll improve on this format tonight, so that there will be more time for evaluation and questions. But I think this is what it should be. It shouldn't be 4 or 5 people in a room, and it shouldn't always be superficial. So take that away with you, if you will, and then let's work together to try and make something stronger and better. We are in an urban centre, we are in a capital, and I think it is beholden on us to try and make it as good as possible for new members and for long-standing members. Thank you for your participation tonight, and good night.